All right.
Okay, I can start now.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me here tonight. And let's see, we got a few people here. I would like to start with a little question. Why do you guys are here to, why are you here tonight? What brought you here to this meeting tonight, to this webinar? Can you please say something in the chat about it? I'm really curious. Just something simple. I mean, the main reason, the main goal that you have for tonight's webinar to get ideas, okay? This is Adrienne. Let me see. Anything to help focus on what's important, make better use of my time. Dirk says to find out how I can be more effective in creating and publishing on LinkedIn. Okay. Marty says you are a great presenter. Well, thank you. And I know that I will learn something. Thank you. Matthew, compelling webinar description was forwarded to your district. Okay. Paul, interesting in the title. It's easy to do too much as VPPR. That's true. That is unhelpful. Um, and Morag, hi Morag, it's to be up to date. Okay. Let me see if I checked all entries because I'm looking for something specific here. No, I don't see it. What I was looking for was for someone to say that you are here tonight because it's a Zoom meeting, or because was supposed to be at 7 p.m. Central European Time. Nobody said that. Wonder why? And it is a Zoom meeting that's supposed to be starting at 7 p.m. Central European Time, but nobody came here for that. And do you know any idea why you all said something different? Anyone would like to take that one? Any idea one? Why didn't anybody come here? Because this is a Zoom meeting, but they all came here to learn something.
Because we were focused on the content and not the organizational details.
Absolutely, yes. Well, the reason for that is that when we buy into something, and when I say buy, I don't just mean buying in the sense of buying something material, but also buy into a course, into a meeting like this one, into a training. We are looking for benefits, not features. So we need to kind of stamp that into our marketing minds that whenever we are crafting a formal communication that wants to attract people to us, we need to market benefits, not features. And this is a very, very important difference here because I see a lot of features being marketed, especially in the Toastmasters space. And by features, I mean things that I'm going to share the screen. So I will show you what I mean when I say features. Let me get the presentation. Sorry, guys, I was taken a little bit off guard here because of the little misunderstanding, but I will be on it in a minute. Okay, I will start the presentation. Okay, do you see the presentation now? Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
So now here I have a table which doesn't look too attractive really, but it will do the job. Now, a feature is when we're looking at Toastmasters, a feature are things like that we have meetings. It's true, we have meetings, but that is not the main content, right? We are organized in clubs. We do things like table topics. We take on roles like evaluator. we have a curriculum, we have an educational curriculum like pathways. These are not in per se, they are not benefits. What are they? They're just features. They're things that we do. So when we go and want to market to outside audiences, talking about, for example, pathways or table topics is not something that will resonate with them because they've never heard about it. They don't know what it is, right? So they would never be attracted by that. Nor would they be attracted by the fact that we are a club. And that a little bit depends also on the cultural background. But for example, I'm from Italy, and in my country, a club is not associated with education. In my country, clubs are usually sport clubs. You can have a tennis club, you can have a soccer club, you can have a nightclub, which is another kind of sport, but it's never associated with cultural things. Therefore, it may even not be well received, okay, if you talk so much about a club. Now, let's associate to these features a benefit, and I would like to hear from you. Instead of saying that of publicizing that we have hold meetings, what is a benefit that comes from a meeting, a Toastmasters meeting, for example? Any ideas? I don't see the chat, so I would like to hear it from you.
It can be increase your network, improve speaking in public.
Yes, yes, of course, that could be.
Developing,
Um,
developing leader skills.
sorry?
Developing leader skills.
Yes, okay. But let's say specific to the fact that it is a meeting, not to Toastmasters in general. What we could say is that it could be a safe, we can market it as a safe place, a laboratory, a gym. I hear it sometimes. People talk about it being a gym, about it being a laboratory, a safe space. For a club, for example, we might want to convey as a benefit that it gives a sense of belonging. It is a place where people can network. What about table topics? What are benefits of table topics? This is an easy one.
Practice and improve impromptu speaking.
Yes, yes, yes. That is a very, very easy one. What about evaluations? Taking on the roles of evaluators. How can we market this? Instead of using the word evaluators, tonight we are going to be talking about evaluations. What can we talk about?
Constructive feedback.
Yes, constructive feedback, learning, mastering feedback, how to give feedback or feedback versus criticism. Okay, these will be perceived by people who have no idea what an evaluator does in a meeting like ours, but they will definitely be able to relate to giving feedback or feedback versus criticism or constructive feedback. And what about pathways? What can we say about pathways? What are the benefits?
It's a structured way to master one specialization.
Yes, it's a structured learning path. Yes, okay, that anyone could understand that. Yes, it could also be self-paced learning, for example, that fits a person's life, a person's schedule. That is a fantastic thing because many courses are structured in a way that you have to be there at a certain time, and if you miss something, you lag behind. With the pathways, you don't. So that could be a very strong selling point there. Okay, here I have, of course, some ideas for you. Mastering feedback, we said, table topics, mental agility, club belonging, and pathways, a customized roadmap. Very, very good. The idea here, when you are in doubt, when you are creating a communication piece, it could be a post, it could be any sort of communication, and you're in doubt if you can use that word. And we are here talking always about external communication. And by external communication, I mean communicating with people who are not Toastmasters, who are not familiar with the Toastmasters language and with the Toastmasters organization itself, which is the vast majority out there. That when we try to connect with people to bring them as guests and to introduce them to the idea of Toastmasters, most likely they have never heard about it before. So there is a rule of thumb here that you can be using, and it's this one. If a word needs to be Googled by a person who's not a Toastmasters to understand it, do not use it. It's very, very simple. If they don't understand it, they need to look it up. Well, then don't use it because it will not resonate with them. Like evaluations or evaluator, general evaluator. Let's talk about feedback, learning to master feedback, learning to give constructive feedback so that people can grow instead of feeling criticized and creating distance. Okay? This is the kind of communication that we need to start learn at the moment in order to be able to really connect with those people out there. We need to shift from what we do. We do meetings, we do roles, we do projects on pathways, etc., to how we transform lives. But which lives? The lives of our audience. That means I sell benefits, I market benefits that are important to them. Is this clear so far? Everybody agree? Are there any questions? No.
Crystal
Okay.
clear.
Yes, we're clear. It's very, very simple. Sometimes we forget, but it's a good idea to come back to this concept because it's going to be, we're going to expand on this concept tonight because we're going to look at the strategy on how to market those benefits. A very simple strategy, we will see it in a moment. And at the end of this webinar tonight, I have a little Christmas present for you. So I hope that you stay with me and you stay awake because it's going to be interesting. Now, we're clear about the benefits. Now what we do. As I was just mentioning, we are going to be looking on how to use a very simple strategy to promote those benefits to the outside audience, to the external audience. 2 steps. And because it needs to be simple, I mean, here, let's face it, we are all volunteers in this organization. We have families, we have lives, we have jobs. Therefore, I think that in order for us to be successful, strategies need to be sustainable. And when I mean sustainable, I mean they're easy enough that can be carried out in the long term for average VPPR. And by average, I mean a VPPR that already has a job in a life outside of Toastmasters. At the same time, this strategy needs to be effective. So let's have a look at what I'm proposing here. The 2 steps have to do with 2 main things. The first one is to provide proof of what we are offering to the outside audience. When we're posting something or we are communicating something to audiences, we are promising them something. We are promising them benefits. Now, where is the proof, right? We need to provide proof. And why do we need to provide proof? The reason for that being that very solid market research shows that 9 people out of 10 will check reviews. That means we'll want proof before they buy anything. So if we look at this room here tonight, most likely all of us, or 9 out of 10 here tonight, will tend to look up reviews before we make a decision about something we don't know. For example, if you need to buy a hotel room, you most likely will go check it out and see what people are saying about it. Why is that? Well, because there is so much marketing out there Everybody sells benefits. They sell even benefits that are not really there, that we want proof. Maybe years ago, we were easier to be made believe, but nowadays we're getting smarter, right? We know that sometimes advertising is not true, so we want proof. It's not going to be part of this webinar tonight, but I do recommend everyone here to get reviews for your clubs. You can do that very easily on Facebook, for example. And even more so, I suggest that if you don't have it already, if your club is not an online club, but it's a regular club that meets in a room, in a real venue, that you have a Google business profile. Having a Google business profile is a very smart move. And I call it usually when I give that kind of webinar, the elephant in the room, because we're talking about LinkedIn, we're talking about Facebook, Instagram. But let's face it, when we have any sort of needs or problem that we want to solve, we don't go to Instagram. We don't go to even LinkedIn, but we hit Google to find an answer. So it makes sense to be present where people are searching for answers. On Google, of course, you can have reviews. As I said, also Facebook, it's okay. But gathering reviews is very important. The next way that we can provide proof is through our meetings. And this is what we're going to be talking about tonight, because it's the step number one. Now, let's say we have a meeting tonight, Tuesday night. What's going to happen at the meeting? Well, there's going to be guests who see the meeting for the first time. There's going to be new members, perhaps, that give a speech for the first time, or that stand up for the first table topic. We can have members, experienced members that provide very good information or a very good speech, a very good keynote, whatever is going to happen at our meeting that night. As VPPRs, that is our main source of proof. What I mean by that is I want you VPPRs to go to a meeting with your phone with a battery at 100% ready to go. Your camera lens nice and clean, because that's where you're going to get your content very easily, and it's the most valuable content that you can get. It's that live content. Let me show you here. Well, first of all, let's talk about what not to do. Now, I'm exaggerating here with this picture, of course, to create a reaction, but please do not post pictures of your club that look like this, with posed groups, so if you want to attract external audiences. Now, a group picture, not as like this one, but of course, one of those nice group pictures that we take in our clubs are perfect for the club, for the people in the club. So you can share that on your WhatsApp groups, you can share that internally in your newsletters, etc. But to a non-Toastmaster or someone who is not part of the group, seeing a wall of people psychologically is not inviting, because it's me and it's them, and I am not part of them. Does this make sense? Okay, one face tells a story, and a group of people gives a statistic. This is one of my favorite sentences here. And this is something that we're going to look at tonight, how we're going to use that one face to tell us a story that is going to be relatable to external audiences. Because people buy the transformation, not the attendance. It just shows that people showed up at that meeting. It does not show that they had any sort of transformation. Okay, so let's reserve group pictures for internal communication, which is also very important, by the way. This is something that would be a subject that we would also need to address. But tonight we're just going to be talking about external audiences. Now, look at the difference between this and the group. here we have just one face and we have a little story. What people are looking for on social media from us are not huge wins necessarily. They're small wins, wins that they can relate to. In this case, here we have Sarah that was terrified to present her budget report at work. Tonight, she practiced it with us first, and now she's ready. She did not win any championship or anything. She just practiced something that she needs to do at work, and now she's ready. It's a small win, but it's something that is very highly relatable and it sounds authentic. Not only that, but usually when a person does something well or feels the adrenaline, has a certain glow to their face. And I'm going to show you in a moment what I mean by that glow. It's that kind of energy that you want to catch during your meeting. The people who are smiling, the people who are happy to be there, that feel the energy of the room. And those pictures, they do not need then to go to Canva and go into any fancy type of post. They can be posted just like this, simple, authentic, with a little story attached to them, just like in this case. And we'll go more into the story in a moment. Now, here we have, I have a video which was sent to me for another project. I'm not even going to use the voice here. I just want you to look at this. It lasts 10 seconds or 15 seconds at this person. She just won third place in a competition in German a few days ago. And she is exuding that kind of energy that I am just talking about. Here you go. Okay? Do you see that? Even though there is no voice, there is no words, we can feel it, that the happiness, that moment, and it's authentic. Now, if we ask this lady now a few days have gone by, maybe a week, or the same question, she probably would not have this sort of energy about it. Now, what works on social media now is authenticity, and this kind of energy cannot be faked. As human beings, we have a beautiful system in our brains, which is called the limbic system. And in there, we have a little tiny part, which is called the amygdala, which is what is the center of emotion. And since birth, we are trained to use that amygdala to spot emotions in others. And we can spot a fake emotion from a mile away. This is why a testimonial campaign run through a social media like Facebook, for example, or LinkedIn, etc., with posed questions. You see them. I have even done them over time. When you ask members to provide a testimonial, usually what they do, they just rehearse something and then they film themselves with the rehearsed small speech. The problem with that is that if it's done well, it comes through as very corporate and not authentic. It comes through as an ad. When you do this, you film something like this with the right type of questions, and we will look at the questions in a moment. It comes through as relatable, as real, as proof. In this case, it would be that taking part in a competition in Toastmasters really can provide you with with a sense of accomplishment, with a sense of pride, and with happiness. Nobody can deny that by seeing this. I think her name is Sarah, by seeing Sarah here. Or Lisa, maybe it's Lisa. So let's recap for a second on how to catch that glow there, the interview checklist. Have your phones ready, charge and all, hold them vertically. The reason why I'd say vertically is because if you're using them for stories or if you're using them for reels, that's the kind of format that you need. If you're only going to be using posts on Facebook or on LinkedIn, then it doesn't matter. You can also have them horizontal. That's okay. It works either way. But if you're going to be using it for stories, then just make sure that you hold it up vertically. Catch them in the golden minute. The golden minute is what we just talked about, as close to the moment as possible. So when is that in a meeting? Usually in meetings we have breaks. So the break, if, for example, in my club, we have speeches and table topics in the first part, then we have a break, and then we have the evaluation and the finishing of the meeting. So, for example, in my club, the best time would be during the break because people have just finished the speech, for example, or they just had a table topic. So that's they're still in that kind of energy. What do you want to catch there? You can have both videos or pictures. That depends on you. Videos are stronger, of course, than pictures, but you can take both. For the video, I would suggest that you stay within 30 seconds to 1 minute, no longer, because that's pretty much the length that is perfect for social media. Are there any questions here on this? Anyone? It's pretty straightforward. Let's talk about the questions here. What kind of questions should we ask? Well, first of all, open questions. So let's avoid questions that would give rise to a yes or no type of answer. But let's ask questions like what, how, who, open questions. Of course, we can tell the person to keep it as a table topic, to keep it short so that they don't go into a very long speech about it. But it's important not to share those questions ahead of time because of what we just said earlier. No rehearsal. What comes out in the moment, that raw answer there is what is perceived as most authentic. Here I have a few questions for you. This is just examples, of course, but you can elaborate on this. You can create your own list. We can ask questions, for example, it depends on what the benefit that we want to showcase is. For example, if we want to prove value, we might want to ask, what is one tip that you picked up tonight that you can use tomorrow? Let's say that there was one of those speeches, those prepared speeches, there was particularly filled with good tips. That could be a question that would work, for example, or highlight support of the group. The question could be, what surprised you the most about the meeting today? This is also passepartout, a question that you can always ask. How has the club helped you in your job recently? This could also be for older members. By older, I mean members who have more experienced members. What are the good questions that you could ask new members would be, for example, how did you feel walking up to the lectern versus walking away? So we want to catch that moment, visualize the confidence. So you can prepare a list of questions to have on file for you. And then at each meeting, you might want to take a few pictures with their stories, of course, not just the pictures, but the picture with the story. The small change, the little tiny change is okay, but it is a change. It is a step towards growth that we are wanting to show as proof that coming to our meetings actually creates change. And this takes us to the next, the second step. So maybe I didn't mention this, but let's see these two steps in the weeks, right? In the week after the meeting and the week prior the next meeting. Most clubs have bi-monthly meetings. That's why I'm thinking of it this way. So you have your meeting, and then for about a week or 5 or 6 days, you would have time to post 1, 2, 3. That depends, of course, on how much time you have. Moments that you captured during the meeting. So you don't have to work too much on this because you already have the material. All it takes is just post the picture with the little tiny change story there, or post the video of the video that you just captured. Even if it's not perfect, it's okay. You can trim the beginning and the end, but that's all. A very, very authentic video will work wonders. The second part, the second week, the week before, prior to the next meeting, is the week where we want to market our club. And here it takes a little bit more work, let's say, because we want to create something that one post that will attract new people to us. It's the promise. Now it's the time when we talk about benefits. We gave proof of those benefits, and now we're going to promise new benefits. We generate anticipation. Now, in order to create the right kind of communication, we need to understand our audience. Just like with speeches, we need to know our audience, right? This is one of the first things that we learn in Toastmasters, is to learn about the audience and to craft a speech according to your audience. If tonight I were to speak to a group of 10-year-olds, I would have to adapt this presentation to them. If I were to speak to a group of people who are into marketing, who have been in marketing for decades, we will probably be talking more jargon, okay? So it depends on the audience, and the same goes here. There are, of course, several types of audiences for Toastmasters, but by and large, there are, at least from my point of view, two main ones. One is results-oriented, especially career, work results-oriented, and the other one is more oriented towards connection. So we have the people who are attracted to Toastmasters because we promise them that they can reach goals, and others who are attracted to Toastmasters because of the environment, because of the community, the connection, the networking. Do you agree that these are two important type of audiences in our organization?
Yes, I recognize those.
You see that too. Anyone else?
Sometimes they can also be combined.
Yes, of course, of course. This is exactly the next thing I was going to mention, and that is, of course, now I present them as two separate units. Sometimes it's convenient to think of them as separate because you can craft messages specifically for one audience rather than the other. But in reality, in life, human beings are complex beings. They may be very goal-oriented, but at the same time, they appreciate the connection, the environment that is safe, supportive, and it creates connections. So yes, they can combine. Let's look at them separately for a moment here. And let's go to what I call the go-getters, the ones who are after results. Psychologically, their main fear is that of failure. They are afraid of failing where it counts. That means in their jobs, most likely. So what they want from Toastmasters, what they're looking for is an edge, is to have a leverage, to learn something quickly, usually, to get them a way to preserve them from their fear of failure. When it comes to attracting this kind of audience, you might want to use keywords that have to do with practice, training, sharpening, testing, drilling, and gym or laboratory. They are willing to, they are the kind of members that are really willing to work. They work hard to go to their goals because they are, how can I say this? They are pushed by their own fear, okay? They want to get to a goal. So they are very sensitive towards like this in your posts. You might want to use this sort of language. And then the other group, the ones who are more into community, into communication, into connection, they need a safe space because their major fear is the fear of judgment. I come under this group, for example. I joined Toastmasters because I was terrified. I had an opportunity to speak in front of a group of 100 people, and I realized, even though I have been speaking to thousands and thousands and thousands of people over the course of my life, that to see a group of 100 people seated in front of me, I was not prepared for that. Why? Because at the moment, at that time, I saw the group as a judging group. And in fact, this sort of audience for Toastmasters needs reassurance, needs to feel that there is a safe space. In fact, I've been in Toastmasters now for many, many years because I found that safe space. And that has worked for me. The kind of words or keywords that you might want to use in communication with this group of people would be safe, low pressure, support, friendly. Do you see the difference between the go-getter group and the connection group? Okay. Now, no matter which audience you are communicating with, which kind of keywords you're going to be using, there is a very simple formula in creating a poster that works. A poster to work needs 3 parts to it. And when I talk about a poster, I mean an advertising poster, an ad. When we are preparing an ad to invite people to our next meeting, we are de facto advertising our meeting, our club. So we need to abide by these marketing rules, which are very simple and they work. The first is the title, which in jargon is called the hook. It's called the hook because it is the title that attracts attention. And usually it works when it addresses a problem, a relevant problem for who? It could be for one of our 2 audiences. So we could be addressing a problem for the result-oriented ones. So we leverage one of their fears, which we know it's a fear of failure. Or we could be leveraging a relevant problem to the people who fear judgment, for example. The hook has some requirements to it. It needs to be attention grabbing because it needs to be short. And when I say short, there is a limit to it. That means maximum 8 words. 10 is a little bit too much. And the reason for that being that on social media, we only have a couple of seconds to attract people's attention before they scroll to the next post, maybe those nice, cute little cats. So in 2 seconds, only 5, 6, 7, 8 words can be scanned because people don't really read your post, they scan it. So that's how much time we have. And I don't say it out of my own experience. I can bring to you the statistics of Meta, the owner of Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApp. This is a paper they've published in 2016. It's still on their website. And they say that on average, they saw that on average, a person on social media, on mobile, will spend 1.7 seconds on any piece of content. A little bit longer if they are on a computer. On a computer, it's about 2.3 seconds. So anyways, at best, it's 2-3 seconds, okay? So 7, 6, 7, 8 words per hook, tops. Then you have the promise, the benefit. Now, when you get the attention of the person with the hook, then they will read a little bit better. I mean, they will stop a little more to read what you have to say. And here you want to have 2, maximum 3 bullets. And again, they need to be short, 3, 4, 5 words, no more. With what? With the benefits. We offer, we start with the hook of with a problem. It could also be a question. And we offer a solution here in the benefit, in the promise. The third part to a poster is a call to action. A poster without a call to action is a wasted piece of paper or a post on social media. Because even though it may be intuitive what the person has to do next, we still need to tell them. We need to guide them, tell them exactly what to do next. For example, if we have a webinar like tonight and there is the date, there is the time, etc., it's obvious that then the next step would be to sign up for the webinar if that's what you want to do. But that has to be in the poster itself, either through a QR code, even though I do not suggest that you put QR codes unless you're going to also be printing that, because typically people will see your posts on a mobile, and a mobile QR code is useless. It's only useful on a computer. But you still need to give them a clear call to action on what to do next. And we will see it in a second. This is an example poster that I created just for this to show you the 3 different parts that go here. Now, the first one is the hook. It's over there. It's stop apologizing for being nervous. This addresses a problem that people who are nervous when they speak in front of others know very well. That they say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous, but that kind of thing. So if a person has that problem, seeing that sentence there is going to slow down their scrolling, and they're going to give you some time to read what you have to say there. You might want to notice that not only have I put this behind a contrasting, create high contrast with a white background behind it, with the maroon writing there, but I also gave it breathing space because the title, the hook, must have breathing space around it. When people scan through posters on their social media feed, that is the space around it is going to make it stand out even more. It make it the message stand out even more. Okay. The next is the benefit. The benefit here we have 3. It's maximum, but they are also short, just 2 words. Build confidence, create impact, and deepen connection. Now, you might want to notice that I started all 3 bullets with a verb. One of the best practices here is not only to have short bullets, but also to either start with a verb or with a noun. If you start with a verb, keep all bullets starting with a verb. Keep consistent there. If you start with a noun, likewise, always start all 3 bullets or 2 bullets with the noun. And then right after that, we see, the call to action, which is at the bottom. Now, this is an F pattern. Last time we had a webinar here in District 59, I talked about the Z and the F pattern in creating posters. The Z and the F patterns come out of decades of research, 2 decades of research really, with devices that have helped understand how people read a page. They are eye tracking devices that have providing pages, posters, and magazines to a group of volunteers. They have been tracking how they naturally read those pages. And it came out that 2 patterns were the winners. We had the Z pattern that, as you can see, you can imagine it because I don't have it here tonight for you to see, but as you can imagine, it's a Z on a page. And the F is what you see here. As an F, it starts at the top and then you read downwards. In the F pattern, you put the hook at the top, the benefits in the center, and then you have the call to action at the bottom, okay? This is how you would structure it because it makes sense to our brain. And then eventually you have some details out there. So you have some features that this is going to be an in-person meeting, obviously, because there is an address, and then there is the date and time. The features are at the bottom because those are the things that our brain will go and search for after it has decided that this thing here is interesting. Now here I have a couple of examples for you. Now, who do you think these would attract of our 2 audiences the most? I've created them with a certain audience in mind. Any idea?
The first one, the edge.
Yes, the hedge. Why do you say that?
It's for work and it's performance. It boosts their performance to give them the edge.
Yes. And also, for example, you might want to notice that here I use the word sharpen in the one to the right. And in the other one is ready to practice. Remember, this first group is really willing to practice, is willing to put themselves out there, like in a gym, okay? And they're attracted by anything that those keywords, sharpen, train, okay? Now let's look at the next 2. How about these? Any
The
idea?
second one. The second
Yes.
one to make it a safer place for them to learn.
Right. No pressure, connection, okay? So you see how to put together what we talked about, the audience, the keywords, and also the images, because as you can see here, we find we see the image of a group. We see an image that conveys connection. Now, these are stock images, by the way, but it would be perfect to have real club images. If you can take good pictures, and for posters like this, it would take a little bit better pictures than the ones that we talked about earlier, where it was spontaneity was important, authenticity. Here you would need pictures that are high quality. You can use stock images like in this case, but again, you might also want to use your club. That would be the best to have real pictures. And now we are coming to my present. Where can I find content ideas? Now let's recap for a moment. So we've seen that we need to market benefits and not features. We saw that there are 2 types of audiences that we need to address when we talk about external audiences. We need to address an audience that is looking for, who are the achievers, who are really looking to learn something, and they usually try to learn it fast. And then we have the community-oriented people, the ones that need the support and the safety. We see that there are different keywords there and different types of posters that we can create for them. We have a two-step strategy. That is the week right following the meeting. We need to provide proof, and the best proof that we can provide is through our members' testimonials. Testimonials need to be authentic, and it's very easy to get them when you are at the meeting. Don't try to get them a few days later, because it's not going to be the same thing. And then we have the second part of this strategy, which is creating ads that invite people to your meetings. And for these, you would need to list those benefits. Now, where can we find content ideas for creating those ads? Because we might have a certain amount of ideas, but especially if you are a VPPR for more than one term, you might run out. So I find that one of the best places to get ideas is Toastmasters International through their online magazine. And in order to do so, in order to use that for content creation, I have created a tool for you. And this tool is actually an agent. An agent is an AI tool that will ask you a few questions and then will go out and perform on its own some tasks and return you the results of those tasks. It's going to be very simple. I'm not explaining myself well here. Let me show you, because it's a lot simpler than it sounds. So the tool that I have created is called a gem. It's on Gemini. And you do not need to have a paid account to use it. You can use it just on a free account. If you don't even have an account on Gemini, don't worry, because it's very easy to get one. As long as you have a Gmail account, you have access to it. Okay? I will show you how to do that later. It's very, very simple. I will share with you a link. All you will need to do once you have your Gemini account is just click on that link, and it will open a page, a special page, which I have created, and it will look something like this. It will say, "Hello, VPPR. Let's create a post for LinkedIn and Facebook. First, what are we promoting today?" It will give you 4 choices. Either it's a regular club meeting, which is probably the one that as VPPR, we're going to be using the most, open house event, educational seminar, or a speech contest. I use these for events because I feel these cover most of a club's need. Most likely the regular club meeting would be the one that we use on a regular basis, but of course there may be some open house events. We might want to promote the speech contest that will be coming up soon. So you have a choice here. What you need to do is just type 1, 2, or 3, or 4. You choose your choice. In this case, I chose club meeting. So the next question it asks me is, great, now what topic or problem should we focus on? For example, fear of public speaking, leadership, impromptu speaking, you name it. Okay, here it can be a topic, like even a feature. It could be table topics like I chosen here. It could be pathways. It could be anything that has to do with Toastmasters, of course. I chose table topics. And what it does is in about, I would say, 20, 25 seconds, it goes to the Toastmasters International website at the magazine. It will go through the last 5 years, the issues of the last 5 years, because I program it that way, because I feel that 5 years has enough breadth of time to have many, many articles, but they're not too old. So it will perform this type of search for what? For articles that have to do with my question, which was table topics. And in this case, it has come up with, and it will return you 3 different articles that it has found in the Toastmasters magazine. It references them here. It will give you the year. It will give you the title, speaking on the spot. It will give you a little summary, like the first one introduces the idea, emotion, outcome framework to help you organize thoughts quickly and stop rambling during impromptu moments. And it gives you the link. At this point, you can click on that and you can go check that actually it has done a good job, because it brings you to that article. Now, to me, it's a value even up to here, because it will find you articles in the Toastmasters magazine that otherwise it would take you a long time to find if you went to the Toastmasters magazine itself. It will find them automatically. It will ask you to choose one of these 3. You choose 1, 2, or 3. And then what it returns you is, how would you say this? A copy-paste framework that you can use in Canva, for example, to create your posters. So it extracts from that article that you have found and chosen, what? A hook to put as a headline on your poster. In this case, it's never fear, tell me about yourself. Let's remember we're talking about table topics here. It gives you 3 benefits. In this case, it's stop freezing up instantly, organize thoughts in seconds, and end every answer strongly. You can choose either one of these. You can choose 2 or 3. It's up to you. And then a call to action. So this is ready to copy paste on your poster. All you need to do is go to Canva. I am sure you have your favorite templates there already. Choose a picture that supports this this hooker here, this headline. Never fear, tell me about yourself. So it would be someone, in my idea, it would be someone who looks a little bit worried, could be. And just copy paste what you find here. For example, here, I have created this poster out of this framework here. As you can see, we have the hook here on top to the left. Again, it's an F pattern. We have 2 benefits that I have extracted from there: stop freezing up instantly and organize thoughts in seconds. And then the call to action that is suggested here was practiced at our next hybrid meeting. I chosen a different one, still using the word practice. And then I just came up with a fake here, but for this example, address and time. So it makes it very, very easy for you to extract content ideas from the Toastmasters magazines and bring it here and create a posters. But it doesn't end there, because it also creates a caption for you, because it reads the article and it extracts some tips or nuggets from it. In this case, the caption goes, do you freeze when your boss asks for an update or a stranger asks you what you do? The panic is real. And so it gives you some of these things. The Toastmasters magazine suggests a simple fix: the idea, emotion, outcome framework. Instead of winging it, focus on one core idea, add a personal touch to make them care, and end with clear action. So far, it gives a very short synopsis and a value nugget to the reader. extracted from the Toastmasters magazine. But of course, our goal here is not for the person to really go to the Toastmasters magazine unless they want to, but it's to bring them to our meeting. So it's been programmed to pivot back to you. It says at halfway through the caption, it goes, but reading about this framework is one thing, building the muscle memory to use it under pressure is another. This is what we do. Our tabletop session provides the safe stage where you can test these techniques and find your voice before it counts at work. Register here, and here you would put your meeting link, however you, whatever you do to attract, to get people to register or to sign up for your meetings. So you can send them to Meetup, you can send them to, you ask them to direct message you, whatever it is, your regular practice. But it would be right here into the caption. And then it says another thing, which is very useful for the strategy here. And it says the source of this article is speaking on the spot is in the comments. That is very important because in the link in comments, you might have seen it on social media many times. It's done on purpose. And what is the purpose? Well, first of all, it's the fact that the algorithms on social media really value and prize comments. Okay, so if they see that a post has comments, they think it holds more value than a post that has 0 comments, especially if that comment has been placed there in the first hour after the post. And since you're putting it immediately, that will be read by the algorithm as a good thing. So what will happen is, and I'm going to stop sharing here. Let me see if I can get out. Because I want to show you in real time. I have put this up on LinkedIn so that I'm going to show you what it looks like in real life. Let me see if I have LinkedIn here. Are there questions in the meantime about this tool?
I had a question about it wasn't about the tool itself, but I noticed a lot in your postings that you have, DM for your invite to the club or whatever.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I don't always put in. And I was just kind of curious, is that just so you get the person to commit to coming? Is that what that is? Or
Okay, I use that and I like it a lot. And I like to use direct message us because that means that they are not going to leave the platform. They can just send a message through whatever they are, if they are on LinkedIn, if they are on Facebook. And also as a free guest for a free guest pass. Because I find that is the lowest friction type of call to action. Now, call to actions are not all born equal. There are high friction and low friction ones. What does that mean? It means that there are call to actions that require the person to do several steps or unknown steps. For example, the famous link in bio is one of them. It's on Instagram, because that means that you send the person to the bio. In the bio, they will find another link that will take them somewhere else. So it's something complicated. In this case, the message is right there because they're already in the platform and they will just message you there. Plus, you also offer them another thing of value, a free guest pass. Think of these words. Free already tells you that you're not going to pay anything. So that answer questions that many people may have, because there are many courses out there where even to just participate as a guest, you still need to pay. an entrance ticket. So here that covers that, free. Plus, it's a guest pass. Being a guest is always something that implies that you are not under pressure. You're a guest. You're welcome. Okay, so that's why I like that particularly, because it does many, many good things to attract people, because it's, as I said, low threshold, low friction type of call to action. And now,
Yeah, I guess I kind of thought it was funny, guest pass, but then I was like, okay, I kind of like it though, but it's like, yeah, just anybody can show up at the club, as a guest, but
we
yeah,
know
people
that.
don't necessarily know that, and then they feel like they're getting something of value too. So
Yes,
I like that.
exactly. Because see, since we are part of this, maybe we've been part of this for maybe a decade or whatever, it seems so normal to us.
Right.
But to someone who's never been a guest before, who's never come to visit you, they don't know. So some of the questions may be, how much is it to participate? Is it free? Do I need to pay? Do I need to bring something special or whatever? Instead, this covers it and really makes it easy for people to just join. Let me see if I can find the LinkedIn here. Here it is. Okay. Any other question, by the way, in the meantime?
Paola, I have a question about this tool. So this tool is a website, and then you are going to share with us the website, or how does it work?
What I'm going to do is I've done something, as I said, a present for you for the Christmas present. So I have put together a PDF it's a linkable PDF, and it also has a QR code. So whether you're going to use it on your phone or if you're using it on the computer, you will be able to access it directly. The only thing is for you to create a free account on Gemini if you don't have it already. Okay. As I said, if you have a Google Gmail account, whatever, people usually have 10 Gmail accounts. Just use one and get your own free Gemini thing. Now, let me show you what it actually looks like on LinkedIn. Okay, there it is. Do you see it, by the way? Okay, so here is the caption, which I copy pasted right in here. This is the poster, of course, which I created in Canva using that table there that it was provided to me by the tool. Here I have register here. If this were a real post, I would have my club's link there. And then source speaking on the spot links in comments. And here is the link in the comments. As you can see, this is the speaking on the spot, the Toastmasters magazine article, which is clickable, of course, and it will take you to the Toastmasters magazine. There it is, to the article. So it does several things. It helps you get content ideas. It helps with authority, because your club may hold some authority, but of course, Toastmasters International, which is present in all over the world, which has been around for 100 years, successfully so, has a lot of authority, and you kind of borrow it through this article. You say, okay, so see, we belong to this organization, and you can come and practice with us when we are here near you, in your neighborhood, in your community. Okay, I just wanted to show you this. Let me see. Okay, so what I can do now is I can give you the PDF. So you can either try it now and see if it works for you, for those who want to try that, or you can try that at home later. And there is my email at the end in the PDF, so that if there is something that doesn't work, or if you have questions, or if you have suggestions to make it better, please be in touch with me. And I love, to have a conversation on this because I created it, but it can be improved upon. And I think that if it's, perfected over time and tested over time by as many people as possible, we can really make this a tool that we can share with a lot of people, a lot of VPPRs out there. It would be very, very useful for them. So let me get the address here. I will put it in the chat. One, can you see if you can open it?
I can open it.
You can open it. Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
There's also a little tiny 5 minutes tutorial, sort of. It's not a real tutorial, but it's an explainer that I created, which is in the document as well. It works. You can just click on it and it will take you to YouTube to show how it works. Would you like to try it, anyone? So in real time, we have, I think, still 10 minutes.
Yes.
Paulina, I don't know if it will be distracting to do this, but I have a question that's tangential based on your image of LinkedIn right here.
Mm-hmm.
It seems very clean and empty, and I like that a lot. Is it a test site, or is that the way that your site typically looks? Like
No. That's a test. That's a
okay,
test.
I want my site to look like this.
No.
Okay.
I usually on social media, I hold a test site.
Gotcha. Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
You're welcome. Because especially, when I provide trainings and stuff, I want to show things, but of course they would not go on my personal LinkedIn. Like in this case, this is just a test. As you see, there was no link there to any club. And the address there is totally fake. It's just an example.
Yeah, I was just being hopeful and optimistic.
Anyone has found a bug yet?
Not yet.
Paola, I have a question. So
Mhm.
when I first scan the QR code, then it's there's a sentence, and then it ends with a dot, and then it has 3 dots. So I'm not sure if it looks like it's incomplete. So it looks like you need to press to have more
Can you please
content.
share your screen so I see what you're...
The thing is, I'm
Oh,
on
you
the
have it on the
phone.
phone. Okay.
I'm on the
So
phone.
to get it started, to activate it, what you need to do is
Yeah.
press enter. When you first land on the tool, It says it there. It says just press enter to get it to make it come alive.
Ah, okay, okay. Let me do it again. Okay, yes, I know now. So the first thing is just to go to the website and then enter.
Yes.
Okay. So I know now that I have to press enter, but it doesn't say that you have to press enter.
Doesn't it? It should say it at the top.
For me, it says, what can I post? And then question mark, and then
Yes.
get hook, the benefits, CTA, and caption
Mhm.
for your post from articles in the Toastmasters, the magazine, and then
Mhm.
and that's it.
Doesn't it say press enter to start?
In my case, no, it doesn't. But maybe it's because I have these three dots, so it may be that on the phone it
Oh,
doesn't
maybe,
show
yeah,
up.
I didn't check it on the phone, really. I only did it on the computer.
I don't know that I saw it on my computer either. I had to go back to the PDF where I saw it says press enter to wake it up, and then it works. I don't think I saw it on the gem.
Okay, can someone please share so that we can all see it? Because when I tried it in several different ways and it showed. So I'm really curious.
Okay. I'm on the phone, but I will see if I can share my screenshot.
Are they working?
Okay.
This is what it said at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to press enter to get this hello
Yes, right.
VPPR to come. But it
Yes.
didn't tell me that up here.
It didn't say it up there. Okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll take note of that. I will look that up.
Then I put in community and conference building. It pulled up 3 articles.
Mm-hmm.
It said article number 1 had this error.
Can you click on the link of number 1 up top?
Yes. Oh. Takes me to the Google search of that link. And to the magazine. Now I have to go
Yeah, it
find
takes
the
you to the full
article.
magazine. It does not extract, okay? Anyone has had that problem?
No, for me it worked.
For you, it worked.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had a similar problem with, getting to that point, selecting one of those 3 options and then the gem not being able to access the article.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for telling me. I will work on it tomorrow and then we'll see. Because see, what happens here is that I can continue working on this if you report to me things that are not working until we fix small bugs, because this is the first time I try it with many people.
Okay.
Okay, so that it's very important. Please, my email is at the bottom. Please be in touch with me because I would really like for this to work perfectly for, on different systems. Has
Okay.
anyone been
Yeah,
able
will
to
do.
get to the end of this, to the process?
Yes. Shall I share my screen?
Yes, please. I'm a firm believer in co-creation with Toastmasters, so to do it together. Oh, there you go. So you have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So indeed, it worked from the start. I selected one.
So it did get
the
you 3
first.
articles. Okay.
Yes. And here it is giving me a hook, the benefits, and the call to action, and then the entire article, which also is good. It's just that this one I need to remove because it's just Google
Yes.
talking to me.
Right. Okay, so it worked for you perfectly. Wonderful.
Okay, thanks.
For the ones that didn't work, what device were you using or browser?
I send my screenshot. So this is from the phone. So this is what I see. The first thing that I scan. So it doesn't say about the enter, but and I
So
wanna.
it's more than one person that has this problem here. Okay, so I will work on that first because I suppose that is the most important problem that we found so far. And also look why it doesn't say press enter because that, of course, is something that needs to be there.
In terms of where I'm getting my enter, I'm using just my laptop and Edge as my browser.
Edge user browser, okay.
And for me, it works on a Mac with Firefox.
Okay,
without
so
any
on a
problem.
Mac it worked fine, yes.
Yeah.
On Edge browser, no. Okay.
I was after going through all three options and having error messages at each point, Jem did eventually suggest a topic for a regular meeting promotion and provided the output that you had talked about. So it will eventually, if you're having problems, specifically 1 through 3, it will, make a suggestion. So that aspect is working really well. And I think that's a great thing to include and have as part of this process, just in case, something's not working. I've got a great link that I could use.
Okay, so let's see if I understand it correctly. You went and encountered problems with the setup as is. And then the tool itself provided a way out. Is that correct?
So
Provided you.
yeah, so asked it to fetch content for I just put in fear and it gave me 3 articles for public speaking. And in terms of generating then the content that you had mentioned, I tried 1, 2, and 3, and at each point the Gem was not able to access the article. So after the third attempt, it did a nice job of making a suggestion about stage fright, and it gave me an article, 5 steps to silence your inner critic, and then gave content for a regular meeting promotion tailored for LinkedIn and Facebook. So
Oh,
that was really, really nice. Especially if this sort of error happens because it's just sort of a nice catch-all, bit
yeah.
for just in case something does go down.
Okay, I will take note of that and work it out with the gem and see, if that can be done quickly so that the person does not get discouraged. Because you have to do 3 times, 3 attempts, right?
Yeah, the thing is that the gem responded very quickly. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would be too much of a struggle. Somebody goes through 1 through 3, none of them work. And again, it could be that the link is old or International's website's not working. I think after a third attempt, especially, I did it within 30 seconds. That's
Oh,
a nice point for it to come.
okay. Okay. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that because that gives me hope, that it can be fixed quickly. I will try it tomorrow and see. And then again, I ask you please to be in touch, just 2 lines and say it's working, it's not working, and try and fix it because I really believe that once tested, well tested, it can work wonders for a lot of people, for a lot of VPPRs. because it's how can I say this? Of course, you can use ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever you want as an AI, and put in your prompts and get some feedback, get some captions, etc. But every time you have to kind of start over again. This is a catch-all tool. It extracts value from the Toastmasters magazine. That it's what it leverages. And I think that is fantastic for the strategy because it gives you also the authority, the validation that you are using that information out of an authoritative, how do you say that? Yes, authoritative source. Okay. Well, are we at the end, Juan?
Yes, we are at the end. I'm not sure if somebody have questions or comments, or you want to give some last remarks.
It's
Paola?
been very useful. Thank you for offering this.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you for
I would
sharing
echo
all
that.
this.
Thank
Well,
you a
thank
lot.
you all.
Yes,
Well, thank you.
very, very helpful.
Thank you also for your collaboration, for your patience, and for the future collaboration.
Thank you all, and thank you to Paola for bringing her expertise to us. We are gonna upload this to YouTube, and then we're gonna share it in our social media channel.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Paola. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Juan. And Merry Christmas.
You
Merry
too.
Christmas and Happy New Year also.
Thank
Buone
you.
feste.
Buone
Bye-bye.
feste. Grazie.